a few ways that narcissistic abuse can change you as a person and can make you emotionally reactive depending on the stage that you are going through. Now, most people go through all of these stages. Some people, it takes a little longer than others. Some people, unfortunately, get trapped in that stage. However, it's a normal response to the things you have been through with a narcissistic person. After enduring the painful and devastating experience of narcissistic abuse, where you have been gaslighted, you've been manipulated, you've been told that you're not capable of doing things, you've lost all your confidence, you've been triangulated against people, you've been ignored, you've been criticized, you've been judged, you've been mocked, you've been let down, you've been humiliated, you can find yourself, and victims find themselves, on a very painful journey of healing and working out everything that has happened to them. And people react to their personal experience very differently. People react to their trauma very differently. Often when you have been victimized by a narcissist, you go through a lot of self-blame. And this is common because a narcissist has passed all the blame onto you. And then you might shift into recognition of the things you've been through and start passing responsibility back to the rightful owner. You then might go through stages of self-doubt. After all, now and again, they can treat you right in those intermittent reinforcement stages, and they blamed you when they treat you wrong. And you can go through many more as you process what has happened to you. You can want to seek revenge on them. You can want to wish them well. You can think, well, they're human. I don't want them to come to any harm. I want them to see the light and change. And no, actually, I want them to suffer. You can go through so many different emotions, and this is all normal. However, when you have been victimized by a narcissist, it is very easy to then slip into the victim mindset because you were a victim of them. However, once we get into that victim mindset, people can find themselves using their past struggles and past pains as an excuse for their present problems. Oh, well, you know what I've been through. Oh, well, you know what it's like. I don't feel like getting up today. My anxiety is high. So we tend to go into our emotions and let our emotions lead us rather than let our mind tell our emotions what we're actually going to do about it. Remember, your mind controls your emotions. You control your mind. So we can sort of go into the wallowing and the self-pity, and it's normal. Not everybody does it. However, plenty of people do. And when people are in that victim mindset, the last thing people want to hear is, come on, it wasn't that bad. Come on, it's time to get up and get going. Come on, if you just get a job, that'll help. Perhaps if you just got organised. Maybe if you stop procrastinating. We all know that those things do make us feel better. Not actually procrastinating, but when we get up and we get organised and we get on and it's done, that makes us feel better. When things are sorted, it makes us feel better. However, when you're in the depths of despair, the last thing you feel like doing is getting up and getting going and getting motivated. And if you've got people who are willing to sympathise with you and help you, sometimes their help is actually a hindrance, although they believe they're helping you, and they are helping you, because you're not getting motivated again. You get stuck in that victim mindset, which is what a lot of narcissistic people are in. It's about taking time to reflect and to grieve and to process, and then it's It's about finding what works for you as a person to get up, to get going, to get motivated again. Because the longer you're in that victim mindset, the worse your life will be. We might miss the victim mindset, or we can miss it and go straight into envy and resentment, or we can go through it, and then once we realise what we've been through, we can go into envy and resentment, partly because the woe is me. Look at the state of my life now. I've lost everything. Understandable feelings when you've lost everything. However, unfortunately, it's up to you to help yourself to regain everything again. So we can go through envy and resentment, which again is a normal stage. That bitterness, that jealousy, that cynicalism. However, this again gives the power to the abuser. It gives them the control. It gets us feeling like they feel. It prevents victims from moving forward. It's a life imprisonment in your own headspace of envy, of wanting to hurt people. It's not a nice place to be, which is the place that narcissistic people are. And they can be very malicious in bringing everyone else down to temporarily feel better about themselves. And it doesn't last long term, which is why they constantly move on. And that envy and that resentment is a life sentence of disappointment and failed relationships and devoid of any meaningful contentment. Just takes you to a very dark place, and it's difficult to climb your way back out of it. However, to climb your way back out of it, instead of going into the victim mindset, which is normal, or the envious mindset, which is normal, and stages you are more than allowed to pass through, you have to use those experiences, which if you're in a victim stage, you do not want to hear. And often if you're in the envious stage, you don't want to hear. You have to use those experiences as a strong enough desire to create a better life for yourself. The third and final is far more productive because you can make something out of the most horrific experience you've ever been through. And again, you'll notice that those who are in the victim mindset, which is normal, do not want to hear this. They cannot, they're focused on the negative, same as the envy, they're focused on the negative. They can't find a positive. It's just not in their headspace. So the more you try and tell someone in the victim mindset or someone who is envious to look for the positive, it's not going to happen. The more they're going to hate you, the more they're going to think that you're the one that has turned against them, that you don't care about them, which reinforces their victim status. Yet once they go through it and discover that they can use the pain of the past to create a better vision of their future, and there is a lot of suffering in creating that future. However, it's worth it. It's finding that desire to rise in spite of all the obstacles that are in your way, to achieve, to do better, to become better, to do more. Now, the envy can actually drive you to do this. I'll show them by improving yourself. Sometimes in the victim mindset, it can help you. You can think, I'm not going to sit here and be a victim of you. I'm going to get up and get going now. And it varies from person to person. It's just something that seems to just suddenly click and we snap out of it. You can't make anyone snap out of anything. It's a decision that they have to make for themselves. And all you can do is support people in the journey that they are actually going through without being too supportive, that stage they're in becomes their personality and how they get the things that they need. However, it is vital that instead of succumbing to the permanent victim mindset and letting that become your identity, or the envious mindset and letting that become your identity, stalking them 5-6 years down the line, seeing what they're up to, why they got it so lucky and I've still got it so terrible, that's because you've been trapped in that cycle. You have to cut them off. You have to go no contact, or at the very least grey rock if you can't go no contact. And you have to have a strong enough desire to let go of the pain and resentment and anguish and use that as motivation to push you to do better, to achieve more, to become determined, to become driven, to find that self-healing within you. It's not an easy journey. And we can all look at certain bits of advice and think, no, that's not for me. And it possibly very well isn't for you. And we can look at something else and think, oh, that's a brilliant idea, I'll try that. That didn't work for me. And then blame the other person, that didn't work for me, that's your fault. Rather than thinking, right, that didn't work for me either. Have I given it a good go? Yeah, right, I need to find something else. And it's finding what works for you as an individual, because there's only you in your headspace. Yes, narcissistic people get in your headspace and you're the one that has to shift them back out. When you're in that victim mindset, when you're in that envious mindset, and there's something that you would really want to do, but you've lost all confidence because their voice is in your head telling you that you're not capable, go and prove to yourself that you can. Use that envy and that resentment or that victim mindset to actually, no, you're wrong about me. I can do this. And go and do it. You can't tell people how they're feeling because they're the one who lived the experience, not you. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, we do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have a couple of books out on Amazon, 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People If You Cannot Go No Contact, and a Narcissists Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you'd like to go and check those out, the links will also be in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.